Hello and welcome once again. Update by Aylesbury Town Mayor Mike Smith. And how you doing there, Mike? You okay?
I'm very well, thanks, Martin. How are you?
Getting there, mate. A little bit of sunshine on my face from a walk the other day, but you were on holiday, wasn't you? You had a little bit of time off. So how did you get on?
It was absolutely great. Had a week off and didn't go any greater distance than 12 miles from my house. Didn't spend anything because nothing was open like pubs or restaurants to spend any money in. But we just did a lot of walks in the Buckinghamshire countryside, which I haven't really explored as much as I should in 20 odd years of living here. But got a nice book of walks in the Chilterns and spent 3 or 4, maybe sometimes a bit more hours a day doing a good long walk through the countryside. Start it off with a big cooked breakfast, finish it off with a couple of beers or glasses of wine. So it was good to just wind down and relax. Really did me the world of good.
Yeah, I think you're right there with the closer you are to somewhere, for instance in Aylesbury, we've got loads of wonderful scenery around us. We do spend time going out to other directions, don't we? Just shooting off, and that we don't actually take appreciation of what we have around us. So, I mean, I walked out the other day and got a little bit of sun on my face, but just found this new route through, hedges. When you're walking through some, not fields, but when you're walking down, and then all of a sudden you think, oh, it's going to be a dead end, and then there's a little road off, not road, but a little track off to the right or to the left. Very, very, very amazing. So, wow. So didn't spend much. So that's one good thing about COVID then, is it? You don't have to spend so much because nothing's open and you can go for a walk and enjoy yourself.
Well, I guess for some of us who are lucky enough to still have their jobs and be able to work, but not have to travel to work and buy lunch or coffees, what have you, we probably are. I've noticed I've saved a fair bit of money over this last 3-4 months. Others are not so lucky and are really struggling with the financial side. So I don't want to make light of it, but it's it does have some spin-off benefits for some people, I guess.
Yeah, I think we can't always look at the downside. We have to look at the upside. There's always a positive and a negative to everything in life. And there is a balance, isn't there? So, yeah, just because, it's not a comical part. It's interesting because actually you are saving money because nothing is open. And because if we go back to the days of when Sunday used to be the day of rest, there was nothing open. You'd have your Sunday roast, you go for a walk or play in the back garden. And, that's all gone now, isn't it?
Or watch one of the 3 TV channels. For those of us that can remember back that far, hey?
Yeah, I was going to say, is it 2? Do I remember when ITV? I don't know when ITV went live, but I remember when Channel 4 went live. Very, very, very interesting. All right. So I tell you what, first thing we'll do, straight onto the agenda, is the numbers. So if I bring up the wonderful screen of information from the BBC, I do like to use their site. So I can't remember the numbers we had last time we obviously chatted. So total deaths in the UK is 44,830. Total confirmed cases is 290,133. So a change of 11 from the previous day on the deaths, which obviously is sad to see any deaths, even one. So, the numbers are going down. So we're getting to the point where we might have to move this towards just a mayor update, Aylesbury Town mayor update, because I think things are looking brighter for the whole of the human race. What's your thought on all those figures so far?
It's certainly good to see the numbers coming down, although, as you say, Martin, any death is a tragedy for an entire family and network of friends. And those 11 deaths today are people that, if coronavirus hadn't been around, may well still be with us. So we just got to remember that just seeing a curve flattening out doesn't tell you the human stories behind the statistics. But it's clearly going in the right direction at the moment. I really do believe we've still got to be wary and careful. And I think the likelihood of some kind of second spike is definitely possible, particularly as things are eased up and people are out and about more and mixing in indoor environments, albeit with social distancing. And I know I've heard tales from some of the local pubs about how well they've done and customers feeling very reassured and comfortable, and others where it only takes 1 or 2 or 3 people to get a little bit out of hand and the whole thing goes to the wall, and then suddenly people are feeling quite scared again. So we have to continue to be careful.
It's an interesting point with all the things now opening up. I mean, gyms are going to be opening up in the next week or two, isn't it? You've got, which is a weird one when you think that they promote obviously health and going out for walks. Yeah, a pub is open, but a gym is not, which is interesting. But
I'm
anyway.
not sure about the logic other than people are sweating, breathing heavily, and therefore potentially more likely to pass on the virus. I don't know. It does seem a strange order of priorities to open the pubs before you open the gyms, but the government is taking decisions guided by the science, so we're told.
Guided by the science.
Not that I'm remotely cynical or sceptical about that, as you know.
Yes, I mean, we've got the Bucks debate. We've got a guy on there called James, and we're talking about natural hygiene. Now, I'm from the bit about Centre-Vax, the 20-minute cure. He's on about natural hygiene, about vaccinations and about pollutants in food. Like obviously antibiotics and pesticides and other things, and how the body can sort itself out. But he does say a lot about the money side. Well, we both do. And it is really weird how, one of the things we were talking about, I think whether it was on air or off air, was how, pubs do need the trade. I've worked within the realms with pubs for a long time, and, in the previous company I had, but it's really weird how, they've opened that up, but not the gyms, which is all about health, and to keep yourself healthy in this natural hygiene thing is all about obviously making sure that you can fight off disease and viruses, not that they believe in them, which is another thing. If you're interested in that, go and look at my obviously FBL Broadcasting's YouTube channel, and you'll see a lot about that. Got another one coming up later on this week. But yeah, skeptical about the reasons behind, or maybe they were getting enough grief. I don't know. So if we can, well, what do you think? Do you think they were getting enough problems from certain sectors within the brewery line? So
there was probably some pressure, although some pub landlords and landladies that I'm aware of locally were saying, we're not quite ready. We're going to give it at least another few days, maybe see how it pans out for other establishments first. But I think it was a sort of psychological moment, wasn't it? The pubs are open and British summer has returned. We can all go and have a drink and enjoy ourselves. But personally, I don't feel ready or comfortable going into a pub just yet. I like a drink, and I like being out in company and supporting local pubs, but I think I want to give it a bit longer to see how it beds in and pans out. Personally, I'm just enjoying each step of the relative freedom we've had in recent times. So being able to go out or drive out somewhere and go for a long walk, which wasn't allowed not too long ago.
Yeah.
Being able to spend time with my partner and have a beer or a glass of wine in the garden, have a barbecue around at my mother-in-law's with There were 6 of us dotted around the garden, suitably distanced, but we were back in company, and we'd all been very much on our own for, was it 13 or 15 weeks? It felt like a long time. So I'm just enjoying what's coming back gradually, and I'm not ready to launch myself fully out there just yet. But that's just me. People will make their own decisions.
They will. I mean, it is going to come back. You know, the virus is. I mean, if we have a look at the figures, so I'll just quickly bring them up so that we can flow through them. Cases are no longer falling, so that's something they're worrying about. Obviously, that incident in Leicester. So, I mean, Buckinghamshire has 34 cases in the last 29th of June to the 5th of July. It says so. That's plus 14 compared to the previous week. And 1,695 total cases to the 13th of July, and 385 related deaths in this area. So if I scroll down a bit, I don't know if obviously you can see these figures. There is just a little bit down here, which is, please don't do a blue Peter and disappear on me again like I did last time. Here we go. Yeah, I was so trying to get that to work with this browser, but it's not. The southeast. We are on 1. So just there. So we're between 0.8 and 1, which obviously once it goes over 1, then we're in the realms of it starting to multiply. So, I mean, if you live in Wales, then obviously you're 0.5 to 0.9. So it's interesting. And if you're in the southwest, you know what I mean? They have a region between 0.7.
Essentially, I don't think they don't actually know exactly where on that line you are, but I think all of those lines, or most of them, have moved a bit closer to 1 since the last time I remember seeing them.
Oh, okay.
Which suggests a little bit of a trend towards creeping up. So
yeah,
definitely need to be careful.
Yeah, I do think we're going to start getting a few lockdowns in certain areas. I mean, get out, enjoy your company with whoever, and drive to certain places, because I think there will be. Is there anything with the Aylesbury Town Council regards to lockdown locally? There's a question for you, Mayor.
There's nothing that I'm aware of. I'm not sure what the process would be if they were considering a local lockdown. I suspect they would speak to the county council or the Buckinghamshire Council, because I think it's unlikely that a town the size of Aylesbury would have a lockdown. You compare that to Leicester, which is a much bigger city. Yeah. You might have a lockdown for Buckinghamshire. Heaven forbid, we don't want it to happen. Hopefully it won't need to. But I don't know whether any sort of much more tightly controlled localised lockdowns would work, really. You think of a town the small size of Aylesbury, if nobody can come in or out, that restricts a lot of people with getting to work, even getting their children to school, because a lot of children are educated outside the county, or other counties' children come into us. So it would be quite a difficult one. I don't think I'm the kind of mayor that has the sort of political power to be involved in a decision like that. That probably lies with the county council and things like the local police and hospitals. So I hope if anything like that was being considered, we get an idea. It wouldn't just suddenly happen, but I really don't know. I guess if there are massive flare-ups in places, they might have to act very, very quickly, and we can understand why that might be needed.
Okay. It's an interesting thing you said there about, obviously, you don't have the necessary power as, I suppose, London Mayor. The London Mayor has a lot of power, doesn't he?
He does, and he has quite a decent budget at his disposal. Well, I have nothing at all. I'm what is known as a civic and ceremonial mayor. maybe in one of these broadcasts, one of the next ones we do, I'll put my mayoral chain on so you can show people that I really am the mayor of Aylesbury, not just some imposter.
Please.
I know you've shown pictures of me, but I have got it with me in the house. Yes.
Hang on, you mean every time we've done this broadcast, you've had it locked away, and we've never seen it?
Not yet, but you will if you want to.
Mayor Mark Smith. Seriously. All right. Well, do you know what? Let's move on to some bigger and brighter things. £20,000, you're nearly there, has been raised by the Aylesbury Mayor to support vulnerable young adults, and now he's pledged more help.
Indeed, yes. Well, correct you first of all. The Mayor has not raised £20,000. The people of Aylesbury have raised that money. Just because we, the Town Council, and I have put on events, it's been the generous people of Aylesbury and all around that have dipped into their pockets, put money into the buckets, bought tickets to events, and helped to raise that money. So what I'm thinking now is I only really had 10 months out of the 12 when I was actively fundraising. We still did really well, but what more can I do? So Youth Concern came to me with the idea of a campaign called Councillors for Counselling. So local councillors like myself are putting out little video appeals just to get people to chip in via a text message, make a donation of £3 to help fund their counselling services for young people around the area.
So here it is. This is the number that you need to call, isn't it? Or text 70470. Correct?
That's all it takes.
Yeah. And there is a little video there. I don't know how this software is going to cope.
Hello, I'm Councillor Mike Smith, the Mayor of Aylesbury. The coronavirus situation has affected everyone's mental health. That's why I've made a donation to Youth Concern, so their counselling team can continue great work providing one-to-one virtual counselling to Aylesbury's young people. I hope you will do so as well. Thank you.
How does it feel to watch yourself on the screen?
Horrible. I hate it. But there you saw me wearing the chain, at least.
Yeah, you wore the chain for that, but you don't wear the chain for me.
Well, I see this as a bit more of a friendly chat between two people that get on and have opinions about things and try to be reasonably coherent and knowledgeable. But, I see you as the kind of guy, one day we'll go down the pub and have a chat like this over a pint or something.
Definitely, I'm up for that. I could do with a pint, really cool. What was I going to say? You said on about that. Mix 96. How's that going as well?
Well, the petition, the two petitions in the local area, between them garnered about 6,500 signatures. And they were sent to Baur Media, who are the new owners of Mix 96, last Friday, along with petitions from all the other radio stations around the country that are threatened with being amalgamated in the same way. And all the local campaigns for each radio station have joined up and been sharing ideas and stories and trying to get people to sign each other's petitions as well. So it's not just here in Aylesbury. There's a lot of people all around the country really feel that a local radio station is something that really does matter.
Yeah, I totally agree. It does matter. I mean, I'm trying to bring up the Facebook page there for you. It's not really there. It's not really the one I was kind of looking for. I'll bring up my Facebook. But yeah, I mean, I've seen the countrywide one. So you haven't had the meeting yet then?
They haven't agreed to a meeting with us. The town council wrote to Baur Media and we had a reply last Thursday. So that was given out to councillors at the council meeting last Thursday. I did try to send you a copy, but I don't know if you received it.
don't know if I told you I've had a busy week. 7 streams in 5 days. It's just been mad.
I have a copy of the letter.
Okay.
Which is it's about 2 pages long, so I won't read out the whole thing.
You did send it to me at 5:49. I've just seen it. Here it is.
If you want to, you're a former radio man. You can pick out the salient points that they're making. It seems a bit like a bit of fobbing off and flannel. We recognise all the good things about your local radio station, and we pledge to keep them without really making any firm pledges.
Am I okay to put this on the screen or not?
I think so. That's been circulated publicly, so
okay.
You can do so as well.
I just want to. Oh, it's been done publicly. That's even better. So again, getting used to this software. Let's have a look. I think it's this one. I'll share the screen. I always get scared. You know when you're using new software that you're going to click something and it's all going to go down and be like, oh, I've just broken it. Okay. Thank you much for your letter. Okay, that's for other people to look at as well, I suppose. As we scroll down, I'm sure a lot of people will stop and rewind and devour it if they haven't seen it anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't mean to do that bit. So, don't like the emails to come up there, but I mean, I haven't read this yet, so I will go over it. So, are you not happy with their reply then? Is that what you're saying?
It's a bit vague and woolly and doesn't make any specific promises that what people really value about Mix 96 will definitely stay. So they talk about having a local connection via local news and travel updates and local stories, but it doesn't say that's going to be delivered by a local team of presenters. It doesn't say they're going to be involved in events like the town council's Live in the Park or other great fundraising events that happen around the town. It seems they have a national charity that they support that then channels funds into local areas rather than being something that we, the people of Aylesbury, have helped to choose and work together with them in supporting. So I think they make the argument that it's all about costs and economics these days, and certainly that's true to some extent. But I think people are already saying, listening to Mix 96 with the jingles are changing.
I saw
the kind of music they're playing is starting to change. They have some annoying music playing throughout the news bulletin being read, which never happened before, and that's not to people's liking. So it doesn't seem to be something that's going to go down well with local people. So I think we need to keep up that fight. I know it's going to be a tough one, I really do, but we'll have to decide what our next move is and keep that work up.
Well, if it's any consolation, my brain is working overtime. It's something that's sticking in the back, and it's like, how can I somehow come up with, I don't know, creating a radio station or, helping other people create one. I don't know. It's something that is, Mix 96. I mean, I haven't really listened to it much because you do my own things, and it's. Well, I don't have a digital radio, so I can't pick anything up in that radio format anymore. But I know a lot of people who do, and I know they really are, disheartened with the whole thing about them closing down. It's just they do a lot, and they use it for a lot of updates. They say they get a lot of updates through Mix 96, with the app, with the website, with the presenters as well. So it's a shame.
Well, on Tuesday last week, they gave me, it turned out to be a 30-second slot on the 7 in the morning news. They spoke to me over the phone for about 25 minutes, and of course they're only going to be able to use 30 seconds, but that was an extra plug for the Councillors for Counselling campaign. And then through their website, as you've seen, they helped to push people towards watching those videos and hopefully making those donations. So that's a very real and direct contribution to something that really matters to Aylesbury. But if that station becomes what they're going to call it, Greatest Hits Radio, Bucks, Beds and Hearts, that's 3 counties. So I think one local politician in one town promoting a fairly small niche charity within that town is not going to be something that they would give the same attention to. So that may have been my last chance to get something out on Mix 96 as we know it, and I'm very glad they did that.
Yeah, and thank you to them for doing that. Well, if there's anything FBL can do, and will help promote. I mean, what was it? Over 60,000 minutes over the last couple of weeks or whatever that we've got people consuming, and our reach is getting bigger and bigger. So we'll see what we can do. And like I say, if I can work something out for a radio station, then I will. But thinking about obviously when's it going to close?
Well, as they say in their letter, it's not going to stop broadcasting. It will have a new name, a new format. I am fairly sure there'll be entirely new presenters. I'm hearing on the grapevine that the current local presenters have either been told or strongly hinted that they will be made redundant. So it won't look or sound the same as what we've been used to. And I think it's probably going to be over the next couple of months that really takes hold. Although, as I say, over the past 2-3 weeks, subtle changes have already been introduced in the way it sounds and the kind of music it plays, which are not proving popular with people. Sometimes you see these things and actually people might say, well, we've lost this, but actually this part of it is quite good and I quite like it. But nobody's saying there's any part of it that is really exciting them or appealing to them.
It hasn't really started yet, but you're not going to get how, involved in the community Mix 96 is with the major, obviously huge broadcaster. So that is something you're just not going to get. You said that yourself. I totally agree with you. Once it's up and down the country. I mean, I was looking at the other day how sad not how sad, but this is how my brain's been working, which was, I'm just quickly going to put it up on the screen, see if I can get it up, which was FM license. If you actually have a look, off comments, bring it up. There is a bit on here. I can't remember where it is. I should have had this up earlier. Look at radio station details. Not that one. There is actually a map in here where they show you what radio stations are around. And I was absolutely gobsmacked how little there was, which was quite scary for me because I haven't looked at this since my university days. I think, what was that? I think it's in here. Awesome, actually. Try that. It might be this. This is how I start to work when I start to investigate stuff. I literally go, right, okay, that's not it. I was going to kind of start doing some shows where I show my people how I investigate some of my stuff. Okay, I'll bring it up for another time, I think. It's just our coverage. I think it's here. Here it is. And it's quite scary. You think it's... I never had all this. What's going on now? This is a Blue Peter moment. Let's have a look at the... hang on, I think... It's that pressure moment, isn't it? There we go. There's a little one. That's just analog. And you start to see, like, for instance, if you look down here, you've got Capital Heart, LBC XFM. And then, Mix 96 is just somewhere in there. You would think that would be full up. with loads of radio stations. You would think you'd have to zoom in to separate what radio stations covering where. But I mean, it does say analog. But so it's the Baur Group, isn't it? I'm just trying to see if there was. So Kiss is part of Baur. Who else is it? Heart? No.
I'm not sure. Absolute Radio, which
yep, that's right.
I
Absolute.
listen to quite a bit.
Yep. Who else is it about? Magic, is that part of them? Do we know?
I think it might be.
Yeah. So when you start to
a surprising number of things, and also things like magazines, they've got quite a big reach in terms of various forms of entertainment.
Yes. Okay, Mix 96 in the middle there. That's if you look at that, that's you're looking at part of Capital Gold, Capital, Capita. You know what I mean? You're not really. There's not much when you're talking about individual. But again, Mix 96 wasn't an independent radio station, was it? In any shape, way, or form, it was owned by another leader in the radio scene, I suppose.
It was. What was their name?
MK something, wasn't it? Here we go.
Can't remember. It's got. I'm sure it's got an R in it. But
who owned it? Mix 96.
But it certainly was part of a group.
I think it was IK or something. Should we look up Wikipedia, see if somebody's already updated? Because they do it quite quickly.
This is,
people are straight in there updating this. I love Wikipedia. I've mentioned this in a few of my other things here. That somebody's already, Mix 96 is already part of the Baur Radio. They've already. Nothing's coming out except for Capital Radio PLC. I thought it was somebody else. But
it was. I can't remember either.
It was something. But anyway, there you go. I have been looking at licenses.
Well, I think a few there in terms of other ideas, because we're fighting this fight to keep mix, or the elements of mix that people really love around here. But if that doesn't happen, there are people that are talking about, can a new genuinely local radio station be launched? And you know better than anyone the costs and the pitfalls and all the regulatory
I know the pitfalls.
Rubbish, I was going to use another word, that you have to plough through.
I have been holding back a few words myself, but yes, I mean, I'm aware of not the costs, the amount of rigmarole that goes with it. There is a lot about the cost, which is FM license, PRS, and a few things like that. But again, my brain's been working, so people have seen me on the channel there anyway, on the Facebook channel. So, and I'm sure they'll communicate if required, shall we say? But hopefully we can sort something. I mean, having another radio station. Okay, it's not going to be called Mix 96, for instance. It'll be called something else.
No, somebody has suggested it would be great if we can call it Remix 96, but I'm sure we wouldn't be allowed to do that. But
no, under copyright infringement, you wouldn't be allowed to. But it's their way, that the Baur Group will say we own the Mix 96 name. I think you're right there. Okay, Mike. I think it's a bit of a short one today, but. Again, we'll catch up in a couple of weeks. Is there anything else you'd like to add to the broadcast today?
Just to thank you for doing it. Thanks to those that are listening in, and I look forward to seeing you again with my mayoral chain on and properly looking the part, rather than just some scruff in his back room. I'm sorry that you've got a sense of disappointment now, whereas before it didn't matter to you, but now you know that that chain is locked in a case under my bed and easily.
Now, why have you said that? That's one thing you don't say on air. Oh no!
It's locked.
It's locked. Okay.
It's very secure.
Good, good. I'm not disappointed. Actually, I kind of like. I mean, to see the meadow at least once or twice wouldn't have gone awry, but no, I think it's it's allowed the mayor to be seen in a normal, if you don't mind me saying, a normal environment. And I mean, it's nice that you're at home as well, so you're relaxed, and we can communicate, like you're saying, as if we were going down the pub. And I think it's changed the way people interpret the mayor in some ways. I think.
Okay, well,
I've had a few
hopefully
people
in a good way. Because I
definitely.
like to be seen as approachable, and I am just a normal chap living in an ordinary house, but I've chosen to get involved in local politics and have now had the chance to be mayor, and I'm just doing the job to the best of my ability in the way that suits me and my personality.
And they elected you in. So, did you get a choice?
The members of the council elected me to be the mayor, having been elected to the council from the public out there.
Yeah.
So, I'm very proud that people have put some trust in me, and will just do my best in return.
You've done very well in your position, especially with the difficult circumstances that we're all in. And I thank you for your time and your help as well, and everything, from Youth Concern to helping with trying to save Mix 96. It's definitely appreciated. And again, people have commented, they look at the mayor sort of role in a different light. I do say, why don't you come on and comment? Oh, no, I don't like to. It's really, really weird. I'm like, he comes up there and he obviously, I said it is a thing that he didn't really sign up for. I've kind of asked, and then he's, oh, okay, I'll do it. And I'm saying, put a comment on it.
We've had some good questions from the public, and I too would love to hear more.
Good. Well, I'll tell you what, the promoting is getting out there more, but now that we can go out and about, I've got some new gear, so we have to cover things even better now as well in an easier way. But once again, thank you for your time, Matt, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much, Martin.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.